Alrighty, almost ready to get started. I'm just going to wait for a couple more people to join up there. Hey, William J. Daniels, how you doing, mate? How's it going? Where you guys calling in from? So we've got Chumbler 54. How you doing? Thanks for joining. I'm going to get started in a sec, just waiting for some more people to dial in. Michigan, well, I'm here in Connecticut. Welcome, Michigan. We're starting to get some cool weather here in Connecticut. A little bit of the old Bliss by the Drop. I like that name. That's awesome. So let's get cranking here. So I just wanted to put together this quick Periscope. I'm on holiday at the moment. I've just been playing around with this Periscope. This is awesome. I'm in my son's bedroom. I've hijacked his bedroom to get some quiet time because they're all at the front with the swimming pool with their friends going crazy and screaming and shouting. So here I am on Periscope, and I just wanted to speak to you about fear, overcoming fear when starting something new, whether that's starting out a new relationship, starting out a new job, moving to a new state, moving to a new country, making a major decision in your life, and how that sort of, how to overcome that fear that's sort of sitting in our subconscious mind. So, Joyce, welcome. And so, in order to understand, what these feelings are of, fear that hold us back from moving forward in our lives when we want to make change, when we want to make positive change, is really understanding the mind. And the mind is basically split into two parts. One is your conscious mind, and if you think about it in two parts, your conscious mind is your thinking mind, it's your creative mind, it's the mind that makes decisions. Hey guys, welcome. Thanks for joining in. So just let me know where you're calling in from. So your conscious mind is your thinking mind, it's your creative mind. It can accept or reject thoughts, right? You can choose a thought or you can reject a thought. So powerhouse of thoughts, good timing with that. And so, if you're thinking a thought that's negative, you can choose to reject that thought with your conscious mind. And your subconscious mind is basically your feeling mind, it's your emotional mind. So unlike your conscious mind, which is this intellectual thinking mind, creative mind, your subconscious mind is your feeling mind. It controls your body. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined, okay? And it goes through basically what it's told. So whatever the conscious mind puts onto the subconscious mind, it does. So if you want to think about this when you first start, or you won't remember when you first start walking as an infant, but if you first start learning how to drive your motor vehicle and using a stick shift, think about all the thoughts that happen in your head during the course of that process. So you've got to think about, the accelerator. You have your clutch in, you depress the accelerator a little bit, release the clutch. You've got to change the gears, check the windows, all that stuff, the rear view mirror, all that before you go. So when you start out, or driving a car, learning how to drive a car with a stick shift, you've got all these thoughts you've got to think about the whole time. But once you've had enough of those thoughts over and over, then it becomes habit. It becomes second nature. Once you've been driving for a while, you can basically drive 200 miles and 90% of the time you're daydreaming, thinking about other things. You're changing gears 100 times, 200 times, not even thinking about it, right? So that's automatically programmed, and that's what your subconscious mind does. In order to hear, your subconscious mind is doing all these billions of calculations per second in your brain. That controls your balance, your speech, your hearing, everything. So it's absolutely amazing that we can stand up and sit down and everything's taken care of. We don't have to, make sure everything balances. So what has the subconscious mind and conscious mind got to do with, fear and holding us back if we want to start a new job or start our own company? Well, when we're an infant, we don't really have a conscious mind. And hey, Powerhouse of Thoughts, you invited a person, so thank you. If you guys can hear me okay, and you like what you're hearing, a couple of likes here and there, hearts has never done anybody any harm, just so I know that I'm on the right track and that you're understanding the message. That would be awesome. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And so what happens when we're an infant? We don't have a conscious mind, right? You don't see infants lying in their crib and thinking, what shall I do today, or what shall I think about this, right? We come pre-programmed, and we've all been there. They know how to, sort of suckle on their mom's nipple, and for food, they know how to cry for food. They know how to cry when they're having pain, whatever it is. So here we are as infants. We don't have a conscious mind, and remember, the conscious mind accepts or rejects thoughts. The subconscious mind can only accept thoughts. So there we are as infants. We're being programmed by our parents, by the people around us, what's on the television, what's on the radio, all that stuff's getting sucked in. So if our parents are telling us, this is the way that you dress, this is the way that you behave, and by the way, when you're grown up, you're not going to be an artist that you want to be, right? You don't make any money from that. You're going to be a lawyer because everybody in this house was a lawyer. My father was a lawyer, which means your grandfather was a lawyer, and your uncle's a lawyer. And, all these thoughts are given to us as children, as infants. So we're just wide open. We're just these sponges sucking it all in. Okay? And all this bit of information about our self-worth, about the type of relationships that we have. Or you don't hang around people like that, you shouldn't dress like that, you shouldn't behave like that, this is the religious belief you follow. All this stuff is pre-programmed into us, and if it's repeated to us enough and a number of times over and over, that becomes our default system. That becomes our habit, the way we think, and it's happening subconsciously, right? So if we're told the whole time, you're so fat, you're not good enough, you make me so angry, you never listen, you're so lazy, and we have school teachers and church leaders, the worst. Not all the time, but a lot of the times. They're hitting us the whole time. So us young kids, and you think kids, it doesn't bother them. I mean, think about how many times you were told growing up, when you don't listen, you never listen, all this stuff. And so that affects us subconsciously. So it's affecting our belief system. So, the way to think of it is, say a thought is a circle, a little circle, like one of these little, or maybe a little heart that's popping up here on Periscope. So a thought is just one little heart, and then an idea is a collection of thoughts, so a lot of hearts. And then if you have a whole lot of these hearts, which is your belief system, a belief system is a collection of ideas. And then those are imprinted, those are on our subconscious mind. So here we are now in our adult life, and we want to go start a business. We want to, go move to a new. I'm sitting here in Connecticut. I want to move to California. I get all excited. I'm lying in bed thinking about, hey, how awesome it's going to be. I'll be able to take my kids to the beach every day. I won't have to deal with the winter and stuff, or the weather here. But then what happens is something starts kicking in. Right, that fear, that worry, that doubt. What happens if I run out of money? What happens if I don't have the same clients there that I have here? What happens if my kids don't like it? What happens if my kids go to a school that's full of drugs? All the stuff, right? And then you just start thinking, that's too much for me. Because your subconscious mind controls your body. Thoughts of worry, so conscious thoughts, you start thinking thoughts of worry, doubt, fear. How does your subconscious mind express itself? It can only express itself in one way. That is through your body. The body is the manifestation of your subconscious mind, of your thoughts, habitual thoughts, conscious and subconscious thoughts. So then what happens? What do you feel? You feel fear. And how does fear express itself? And somebody's saying, yeah, powerhouse of thoughts, we have to use fear as fuel. Absolutely. So the way that it works is that your body expresses itself in the form of anxiety. And then Abraham Maslow said to us, right, we can either step forward into growth, or we can step back into comfort. And that's what happens all the time. And it's not our fault, right? It's not that we're too lazy. It's not that we're too scared. It's that our subconscious mind kicks in, right? So we have this subconscious mind kicks in, gives us more of these thoughts. Because we have these anxious thoughts, guess what happens? It's a vicious circle. Because we're feeling this way, we start thinking, hey, maybe I'm making the wrong decision. So the way we feel feeds our conscious mind, which filters into our subconscious mind, which filters into our body. Conscious mind, subconscious mind, body. If you look at those three things, conscious mind is thoughts, subconscious mind is feeling, body is action. Thoughts, feeling, action make up your attitude. That gives you your results in life. So if you want to look at your life and how to change your results in life, people quite often think, I need to work harder. I need to go do this more. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We need to start looking at our thoughts. Okay? When we look at our results and we think, oh man, I am lazy. Geez, my bank account sucks. Oh my gosh, I'm too fat. Whatever it is, I'm too ugly. I'm losing hair. Okay? That reinforces. When we look at our results, it reinforces into our thoughts. We have the same feeling and it just feeds itself, this vicious circle. So the thing is, a couple of things. So somebody just commented here, which is nice. You've got to use fuel as fear as fuel, which is one of the good things. So when you step forward into growth and you want to make change, you've got to start with the image in your mind, right? Everything that's created in this world, this hat, these sunnies, this bracelet, this t-shirt, this mouse or the computer, all was an image in somebody's mind before it was physically manifested, right? That's the fact. Anything we see here that's man-made was once a thought in somebody's mind. It was an image in somebody's mind. They then put it on a piece of paper, show it with their work colleagues, they work it, create it, work it around. If we want to see something new, whether that's building a chair, building ourselves a house, dreaming about our ideal car, where we want to live, what our ideal house looks like, it all starts with the image. Humans look, we see in images, so it has to start with the thoughts. But then we must realize is that it can't happen overnight, right? We've been subconsciously programmed. Some of the things we can change very quickly. These are called our paradigms, right? Everything's called our paradigms, and this is what keeps us stuck. Some of them we can change very quickly. Some of them we can't. We've got to do a lot of work. Affirmations, mantras, visualization. No matter what your results are, even though your bank account sucks, even though you're still overweight, even though your relationship still sucks, you've got to focus on what you want, not on what your problem is. But when you start taking action and you start moving forward, you're going to hit that anxiety. You're going to hit the terror barrier. Okay? And so you can either choose to use that discomfort to say, okay, what is my lesson here? I've got to carry on going. I've got to break through this anxiety, because when you break through that terror barrier, on the other side is freedom. Okay? And that's a very, very important thing. So this whole thing about starting our business and that, starting off a business, starting a new job, that's what happens. We want to start these things that are new, but then our subconscious programming. And so the power of thoughts is here. Act as if it's already yours and take action. That's right. And that's where that saying, fake it till you make it, right? But this is about being authentic. This is about being authentic and aligning yourself with your true passion and desire. You see, we're not taught this in schools. In schools, we're taught about all sorts of, some of it's really good, it helps us, you know, how to do the basic math, so we make sure we're not getting ripped off, and we know how to count our change and stuff. But, what's the point of memorizing historical battles and dates and this and that? I mean, some of you want to know some basic history, but why aren't they working on our minds and helping us to, use our minds the right way? Why don't they teach us about financial and fiscal responsibility, etc.? Instead of all this other malarkey that they teach us. And then it's only when we're adults that we've got to try and unprogram ourselves from all the junk that we've been fed in the past. And so here I am in Connecticut. I'm originally from South Africa. I live in the US. I love it here. But one of the things that I noticed from, coming to America is how crazy the political situation is. And right now we got these Republican, and I'm fascinated by this stuff. Not because I choose a political party, but the belief systems are so strong. The paradigms are so strong that they've been fed. If you're a political party here, you believe a certain way, which is the way your father was, your grandfather. And if we got 10 people in a room and we discussed 10 topics, there's no ways we would all agree on every single topic. But put people into a political party, and you got 40 million people that all agree on the same things. It has to be this, that, this thing. Whatever it is, the belief system about climates, whatever the belief system is about guns, whatever it is about government, whatever about taxes, all of a sudden these people believe all the same stuff, and it's amazing. And that's the power of subconscious programming, right? And it can be used as a negative, and it can be used in a positive. So if we want to make these changes, we have to understand we're going to have to, and you can't fight that old model, right? You have to build yourself a new model in your mind, right? And you have to be patient with yourself. Some of it will be very, very stubborn, and some of it will be able to clear very quickly. Because if we try to fight our old model, like procrastination or whatever, it'll be a losing battle. That's why people have yo-yo diets, for example, right? And that's why people's income goes up and down, because they're trying to fight the model. And they'll use fear, for example, as somebody suggested, but they're not creating a new model of the way that they want to see themselves, right? And affirming that over and over in their mind. And so you've got to create this new model. Here's your old model, the stubborn model that keeps you stuck in this place, and you've got to create a new model, so that new model grows and grows and grows, okay, until it overtakes this other one, and then the other one just dissipates. Hey, thanks for the hearts. I really appreciate that. So I hope this all makes sense to you. And this is one of my passions. I have a coaching business, but I also work with business owners, teaching them about businesses and online marketing. And one of the things that I always say to them too at the same time, right, is like the biggest thing that they're facing, and some of the challenges that they're facing, is not so much the market conditions or their lack of knowledge. It's basically fighting and their old paradigms and their mind, their habitual thinking. So when you go start off a business, you go excited, you're dreaming about your business and working for yourself and stuff, and then you start implementing the work, and then you don't see the results. Or one of your friends comes and says, you'll never be able to do that. You're not good enough. You're not cut out for that stuff. Or you compare yourself to somebody else and you don't have the same results. And then you start thinking, I'm not good enough for this. Maybe this isn't for me. And then you're trying to start rationalizing everything, right? Because that's what your subconscious programming is doing to you. It's keeping you there. So, which is completely false. And we got to create this new model. And we got to create it in our conscious mind, which then feeds into our subconscious mind, and builds ourselves a new habitual way of thinking. And this is extremely powerful stuff, and it works on so many different levels. If you give yourself the time, if you give yourself the patience, you can make extraordinary changes in your life, in your health, for example. And that's one thing that I faced. I was sick for 5 years from Lyme disease. And when I shifted my thinking to stop fighting it, to actually, creating a new model and visualizing myself the way I was, that's when the change happened big time. No amount of medicine or anything could do that for me. So that's what I encourage you to do. And, I've only just started doing this Periscope stuff and playing around with it. So I hope you enjoyed this. And that's it for today. So if you want to start something new and you're getting that negative input, remember to focus on what you want, not on your results, your current results and stuff. And, create that new model in your head. And it all starts with your conscious mind. Thanks a lot, Powerhouse of Thoughts. I'll follow you too, and I'll give you some hearts and that on yours. So thanks for all the hearts and for the reach. And I appreciate it. And we're all in this together. And the ability to use platforms like this to hang out with like-minded people and feed my own conscious mind with good stuff instead of the junk on the TV and all the other negative stuff that we see online and read and hear from